That evening, I was hit with the most unexpected shock of my life. After 20 years of marriage, 2 wonderful children, and what I believed to be a lifetime of happiness, everything came crashing down. I returned home early, blissfully unaware that everything was about to change. When I walked into our bedroom and saw the determined look on my wife's face, my breath caught in my throat. Was this simply a weekend getaway? Or was I standing on the brink of a betrayal that would shatter everything I knew? Before I dive into the story, are you sure you're ready for the truth? If you don't want your world to be flipped upside down as mine was, make sure to subscribe to my channel. You'll hear real stories and lessons from people who've been through life-changing events just like mine. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the shocking truths I've experienced in the comments, and please show your support by liking my video. My name is Bill Miller. At the time all of this unfolded, Lori and I had just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. We met in college and tied the knot shortly after graduation. Over the years, we were blessed with 2 amazing daughters, Kelly and Erin. Kelly had recently started college, while Erin was getting ready to graduate from high school. 6 weeks ago, we dropped Kelly off at a state university, and Erin had been considering the same school for next year. As expected, the girls often bickered, but their bond was undeniable. Kelly's departure had left a noticeable emptiness in our home. While we were happy for her embarking on this new chapter of her life, it was still hard to adjust. I worked as a partner at a large accounting firm while Lori had found a role as a supervisor at a construction materials company. Although she had studied English in college, her career path had taken a different direction in the business world. Financially, we were doing great. Our house was beautiful, we drove new cars, and our lifestyle was comfortable. But Kelly's move to college had affected Lori more than I realized. I'd noticed her being distant in the past few weeks, but I hadn't questioned it too much. That Friday, I decided to leave work early. Erin was spending the weekend at a school camp, so it would be just Lori and me at home. I planned to make the most of the quiet time, hoping to rekindle the spark in our relationship with a romantic dinner. I'd sensed something wasn't quite right, but instead of addressing it directly, I decided to focus on trying to fix things. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Lori's car in the garage. She had left work early too. I walked inside, calling out, "Honey, I'm home. I'm here." Lori responded. I made my way to the bedroom and found her standing in front of the mirror, doing her makeup. She was wearing the black dress I'd given her last Christmas along with the elegant pearl necklace I'd bought her. Beside her was an open suitcase, and she was packing a few clothes. At that moment, everything froze. My heart raced. Lori wasn't preparing for the romantic weekend I had imagined. The truth was about to hit me with the force of a wrecking ball. "Are we going somewhere?" I asked, my voice filled with hesitation. "You didn't tell me, but I can get ready quickly." "Where are we going?" The excitement in my voice evaporated as I awaited her response. Lori lowered her gaze and spoke slowly. "Bill, I'm sorry, but I'm going on a date this weekend. I wasn't planning on telling you, but since you came home early, I owe you an explanation." The word date echoed in my mind, reverberating with disbelief. How could those 2 words, date and marriage, even exist in the same sentence? Was this some cruel joke? I had never been so blindsided in my life. "A date? What do you mean? We're not in an open marriage, Lori. How could you do this to me?" My voice cracked with shock and hurt. Her response was calm but resolute. "Bill, it's just the weekend. Ever since Kelly left, I felt lost. This is like therapy for me. I need to take some time to figure things out, and I'll come back on Monday morning as the same Lori. Nothing will change." Her words sent a chill through my entire body. "Lori, this is madness. How long has this been going on? Who is this man? Are you cheating on me?" "No," she replied quickly. "This isn't an affair. We've only had a few lunch meetings, that's all. It's just a fling, a one-time thing. He's married too and has kids. I don't want this to affect us. It's just for the weekend. Please try to understand." The word understand was like a spark that ignited a furious fire inside me. How could she ask me to understand this? How could anyone ever justify this kind of betrayal? So you think spending the weekend with another man will somehow help our marriage? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, filled with disbelief. She replied with unwavering resolve. Yes, I need to feel young, beautiful, and alive again. Something I must do. I want you to give me this weekend as a gift, and I need you to understand. I'll come back on Monday, and everything will be as it was. Nothing will change. At that moment, it felt as though the woman before me was no longer the Lori I had known and loved for years. She seemed like a stranger. I was at a loss for words, unable to come up with a logical response. After a deep breath, I spoke. If you're determined to go through with this, it's your choice. But know this, you have until your Uber arrives to change your mind. Before you leave, I want you to keep your phone on. This is just for your safety, not anything else. Lori paused, considering before nodding. Okay, she said, but promise me you won't follow me or try to ruin my plans. I gave her my word, but inside, a storm was brewing. Lori's betrayal had set our lives on an irreversible path, and I had already decided on the first step of my own transformation. As Lori packed her suitcase and waited for her ride, I sat in silence, torn between conflicting emotions. Part of me wanted desperately to stop her, but I didn't want to degrade myself further, so I let her go. When the Uber arrived, she grabbed her suitcase and walked out without looking back once. Lori was gone. I grabbed my phone, my heart racing with a mix of emotions. A new chapter in my life had begun. There was someone I had once cared for, someone I had never pursued because of my loyalty to Lori. Sarah. It was time to reach out. Hi, Sarah. It's Bill, I said, my voice shaky but determined. Sarah's voice on the other end of the line was warm and familiar, taking me back to a time long past. Bill, it's been years. I've wondered how you've been. I briefly explained everything, Lori's decision to spend the weekend with another man, and how I could no longer continue in this marriage. Sarah fell silent for a moment, then gently asked, "What do you need from me, Bill?" I took a deep breath. "Sarah, I made you a promise. I told you that if my marriage ever ended, I would call you. Well, here I am. I'd like to spend the evening with you. I just need someone to talk to." Without hesitation, Sarah agreed. I drove over to her house, where she greeted me at the door with a warm smile. Her kindness and understanding eased the turmoil inside me. That night, we talked for hours, about Lori's betrayal, about my feelings, and about the connection Sarah and I had once shared but never explored. As we spoke, something I had kept buried deep inside surfaced. I didn't just want one night with Sarah. I wanted a future with her. The weekend I spent with Sarah emotionally and physically filled a void I hadn't realized was there. Lori leaving that night had turned out to be my liberation. When Lori came home on Sunday, she walked in with a certain confidence in her step, her eyes shining. "See? Nothing's changed. I came back as the same Lori," she said. But she didn't realize that everything had already changed. That weekend had marked a turning point for me. Even though part of me wanted to believe I still loved her, my heart rejected that notion. I listened to her talk, but it felt as though I was observing her from a distance, as if taking mental notes. When she finished speaking, I didn't hesitate. "Lori," I said, "this weekend made me realize something. Our marriage is over. I'm not saying I can't forgive you, but I can't continue this relationship. Tomorrow, I'm starting the divorce process." The look of relief that crossed her face quickly shifted to fear and shock. In that moment, she realized her actions had altered everything forever. She cried and pleaded, but my decision was final. The divorce process with Lori was swift and fair. I explained the situation to our daughters, Kelly and Erin, encouraging them to continue loving their mother despite her mistakes. Over time, everyone adjusted to the new reality. As for Sarah and me, we fell in love again. Within a few years, we married and started our own family, having 2 beautiful children. I also grew very close to Sarah's son, Jacob. Looking back now, I understand that weekend was a turning point that reshaped my life. Sometimes, the most painful betrayals lead to the most beautiful new beginnings. Lori lost me through her poor choices, but in doing so, I found myself in true love. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. I'll see you in the next episode of Revenge Story Dimes. Take care of yourself, and remember to cherish your loved ones. Goodbye.